Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video we're going to go through a team selection for game week 9. I'm going to give you the 11 players that have made the cut, those that are on the bench, and we'll also talk about captaincy options. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, make sure you like it, don't forget to subscribe, and in the meantime, let's take a look. Those of you who watched the channel before will know I am on a wild card for game week 9. So this is my wild card side. I'm not going to go into huge depth with it, but I'm going to assume that these players at the moment are going to be the ones that I go with, and then I'm going to select my 11 and put the players on the bench. So I don't want to talk about captaincy. I am wobbling on a couple of them, but I'm going to bring another video out, I think, on Saturday morning to clarify, because it could change a little bit, but I don't think it's going to change too much. One thing I'm pretty set on at the moment is Pope. But we've still got all those press conferences to come. So in all honesty, if Potter comes out and says Kepa's definitely going in, that could change my strategy a little bit, save me quite a bit of money. But Pope looks like a long-term option for the rest of the season. Being decent, I do trust that Newcastle defence, even though the figures perhaps state that they've had some tough games there, conceded goals. I quite like them. Pope had a mare for England, but I still think he's a good goalkeeper. Alongside him, and I'm wobbling with Ward a little bit, if Everson gets the nod, 3.9, that actually could have quite a lot of effect on this side. He saved himself 0.1 million. He would definitely come in as a playing goalkeeper for Leicester. Don't actually intend on playing him very often, but as we've seen in the Wildcard videos I've done, there is a couple of fixtures where he could dovetail with Pope, but I'm going Pope and Ward at the moment, unless we get some news about Everson. In at the back, Trippier just comes in. I think his fixtures look brilliant. I'm not going to dwell on him too much. And then alongside him, Nico Williams I've got in my team right from the start as well. Great XGI. Right out there with the best of them. Just if Forrest could just keep a clean sheet, that would be fantastic as well. Upside, I've got to keep Reece James. He comes in, 6 million. Just so much attacking returns. Even if he doesn't get the clean sheet, he's got so much attacking potential to get assists and even goals. Cancelo comes in. Do you know what? I've never been unenthusiastic about bringing in a player of Cancelo's quality and expensive as I am right now. I almost feel like I want to go Walker just because he's cheaper. But I've got the money, so I'm going Cancelo. Am I wobbling on him? Maybe I am. I just feel like I'm paying a lot of money and I'm not that keen. There is the threat that his ownership is so high. Actually, if he gets a goal involvement, then that could really hurt me. Whereas Walker just has got no XGI whatsoever. But Cancelo's not been great. I do think he's got it within him. At the moment, I'm going Cancelo as my fourth defender. And then finally, I am wobbling with Kufau. Kufau has started every game this season so far. But Johnson is about to return. So talking to some West Ham fans on Twitter, there is a possibility that Johnson steals minutes off Kufau. They did both play at the start of the season. But now Emerson's back. Possibly Kufau gets nudged out. And Cresswell would be a preferred right back if they were playing 4 across the back. So I've got some concerns, and strangely, if Everson comes in instead of Ward, I can move Kufau up to Zuma, who then gives me an absolute nailed-on West Ham defender. And I do want a West Ham defender with those fixtures. Wolves at home, Fulham at home look good. Southampton away looks fine. The only thing I don't like about it is I'll have 3 City players who blank in 12. That would force me, more or less, to play Kufau away at Liverpool, and I don't like that. However, I think that might just be the case unless I make some transfers to bring Man City players out and better ones in. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Kufau keeps that spot. If it's not him, it's more than likely going to be another West Ham defender. In midfield, has to be Zaha. It's a non-negotiable. He's been right in there since the start of the Wildcard. He looks brilliant. Chelsea, I think he might get benched this week, but he's in there. Then I'm going to go Foden as well. Was KDB, but for the money, what I need to do with it, I'm going down to Foden. Started every single game for Man City. I like Foden. I think he's really good. He's not KDB, but he covers KDB. I'm pretty happy with that. Andreas for Fulham, decent fixtures. Good enabler, 4.6. The best there is really at that price range. Maddison has to come in. It could have been Barnes, but I think Maddison's got better potential. 7.9, those fixtures just look amazing. So it has to be a Leicester player in this side. And then making it the midfield, Raheem Sterling's been there right from the start. Don't think it's an easy game away at Palace. But then Wolves, Villa, Brentford, that looks nice. And he's just been performing pretty consistently so far this season. We'll have to see how he keeps doing under Potter. What that concessions do, no Salah, no KDB, so Foden's come in. So what that does give me is the ability to play Mitrovic up front. Again, I feel quite unenthusiastic because it feels like everyone's got him. I'm just following the crowd of Mitrovic. 6.9 no. Again, he's just so cheap, and he's playing, he's on pens, he's scoring goals. I've got to bring him in, really. It just seems foolish not to. It seems obvious. The other one as well, it was going to be Isaac. I've moved to Tony. Could have been Bamford. What scares me is that with Bournemouth a game away, I just feel like Tony could just really bully that Bournemouth defence. So he comes in up front, and then finally, I don't think any guesses to find out who next. It's Haaland. Don't need to talk too much about that. So those are my 15. Not saying it won't change, but it's not going to change drastically. If that ends up being my 15, let's have a look at who starts, who's on the bench, and who my captaincy choice would be. So here's my side. 100.2 million is the value of it. Let's have a look at their fixtures. It's nice that no one is playing red or dark red fixtures. You could argue the likes of Zaha played Chelsea as a red fixture, but Cancelo, Manchester United possibly. Whether you're arguing or not, I think there is a decent bunch of fixtures. In terms of who comes out the side and goes on the bench, then I think really I've got to take Zaha at home to Chelsea. Just it looks like a game. You know what? He could score against absolutely anyone it is at home. Wouldn't surprise me. But I think he's the obvious choice really to go onto the bench. Probably going to put him first. Nico Williams away at Leicester, not expecting a clean sheet. He could get an attacking return. So I'm not really convinced that Leicester will keep a clean sheet either. And then finally, I think Andres would be the next choice at home to Newcastle. And then having a look, Ward would go on there as well because at home to Forest. It is tempting, but I think I'd still go Pope away at Fulham. So that would leave me with Trippier. I am doubling up on that Newcastle defence. I'm not sure I'm massively comfortable with that, but I think it's better than Forest playing away at Leicester. Chelsea, I've got Manchester City, and Kufau at home to Wolves. Pretty comfortable with that. Madison, Sterling, and Foden midfield, quite like that. Up front, really, I'm firing all cylinders of Mitrovic, Tony, and Haaland. Given these options, I just think the obvious choice, and it just feels boring, but Haaland at home to Manchester United. He's the biggest hitter I've got in here. Sterling possibly could take a punt. But where at Palace, I don't think Palace will roll over. I think they're going to be quite a tough nut for Chelsea to crack. The other choice, maybe I could take a punt on Cancelo, but then the ceiling on that feels a little bit low. I don't want Tony away in Bournemouth. He is a worry. He's in this week, and I'm not sure I want to keep him long term, but I'm just too scared to not have him in potentially. So do I captain him? Getting away from home in the Premiership, I just feel like, no, I think Bournemouth will put up enough of a fight. In the end, will Manchester City beat Haaland, Man United? Yes, and therefore they're going to score. Haaland's more than likely to get on the score sheet, and that's how it is. I am wobbling over Kufau. I'm wobbling a little bit over Ward to Everson. Those are two things I think I'm wobbling a little bit about my wildcard. Other than that, I think my side's pretty settled. It's not going to change drastically. But again, it will be key to listen to those press conferences on Friday afternoon and see what happens and knows what is said. Because it might get a nugget of information that just changes everything. If Isaac is fit and he's how comes out and says he's ready to play, he could easily come in for Tony. So we'll just have to wait and see. But in essence, that's my side. That's all for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below who are you bringing in for game week 9 and who are you captaining as well. We'll come back at you on Saturday morning with a last minute wildcard video just to clarify what I'm doing. In the meantime, if I don't speak to you soon, best of luck with game week 9 and I shall see you on the other side.